So this 1958 Gibson Les Paul reissue used to be my main guitar for a long time. But over the past year, I have barely played it, and I want to change that. I want to reactivate this guitar. Does it only need a new setup, pickups, or an entire makeover? I'm not sure yet. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Before we get into this topic of today, I want to plug my guitar courses real quick. If you want to learn that style of playing that you just heard, a more melodic style of soloing, if you're into that, check out my guitar courses in the description down below because they teach you how to do that. So this Gibson Les Paul is the ignored child in my guitar family right now. Do you ever have that with a certain guitar that it just, it falls off a cliff or you just kind of forget about it? Although you used to play it a lot, because that is pretty much what happened with me and this guitar. It has nothing to do with how much I love this guitar. It's just that different things happened in the meantime. So, for instance, when my Instagram blew up a couple of years ago, it was because of the Telecaster videos I had on there. So I'm pretty much known for playing Telecasters, and people kept asking for more Telecaster stuff, more Telecaster content, and that's what I did. And also, a year ago, I received a signature guitar by makeover, and that has pretty much been my humbucker guitar of choice since then. However, I still like the sound, I still like the feel, I still like the, that's just hard to beat. In fact, it's not just that I love a Les Paul. The Les Paul is the reason that I play guitar. Because when I was a kid, I wanted to be Jimmy Page. I watched the VHS of The Song Remains the Same live in concert kind of thing, and I wanted to be Jimmy Page, and I wanted to have this kind of instrument. I wanted to play all the cool, Anybody else getting turned on? Also, this specific Les Paul is heavily emotionally tied to my dad because he promised me to buy this guitar when I was a young kid, I didn't want to finish school, and my dad said, if you finish school with good grades and if you graduate and if you go to university and study and do something with your life, I'm going to buy you this kind of Les Paul. And that was the deal to me. I'm pretty sure without that Les Paul deal, I probably wouldn't have finished school the way I did. Plus, it's a 1958 Les Paul, and my dad is born in 1958. So there's a connection there. And yes, I get emotional about that sometimes. But this guitar doesn't only have a family story, it also has so many scars of me gigging this Les Paul everywhere, in every climate, in every season of the year. It has tons of scratches. Every little scar on the back tells a story. There's belt buckle rash, there's little spots missing, and the neck is pretty beat up. The lacquer is off. I think I sanded down the upper layer of the lacquer at some point, so I messed with this guitar quite a lot. And it is the story of me being a 19-year-old person trying to explore the world with just one electric guitar, playing shows with a rock band, changing pickups, beating up this guitar, playing it as much as I can. The frets are, worn, I would say. So this guitar has been played a lot. It is pretty much history in this guitar, history of my musical career pretty much. So basically what I thought about are 3 different levels of changes to this guitar, and 2 of them are absolutely necessary, and the 3rd one is an optional thing that I'm still thinking about, and I want to hear your opinion. So first one that is absolutely necessary is this guitar needs a setup. The intonation is just not up to par with my makeover guitars, which is partly due to the construction. I'm aware of that, but still this guitar probably needs a new saddle, needs an entire new setup. Change number 2 that is necessary is I need to change the pickups, because I am pretty tired of hearing these kinds of pickups. They're very good pickups, but I've heard them for a long time. And now that I'm so used to the Clubman pickups in my Nick Huber guitars, these Häusl pickups just sound honky to me. There's a certain mid-range frequency in these pickups that I can't quite hear anymore. I've heard it for over a decade, and yeah, so the pickups need to change. Do you have any pickup recommendations? Because one thing that I don't want to do is, equip a 3rd guitar with the same Clubman 59 pickups. I already have 2 of those. And with this Les Paul, I want to change it up a little. And I want a low output PAF. I always love low output PAF. So what is your favorite low output PAF in a Les Paul? Let me know in the comments. That is change number 2. And then I thought of one more change, which is quite a little bit more, sophisticated. And that is, I thought about doing a slight makeover of this guitar. Meaning, there's companies out there who make over Les Pauls, which means pretty much they're stripping the lacquer off and they're refinishing it with real nitro lacquer for a better feel, for like an authentic vintage feel. They replace some of the parts, some of these knobs are loose and all that stuff. And it would give me the opportunity to get a better burst, because I like the iced tea burst on this. It's cool, but I've also grown a little bit tired of it maybe. So maybe it would be a nice opportunity to get a cool tobacco burst, because that's what I would be after. And, but that is totally optional. I'm not sure if I should do that. Let me know if there's anybody out there watching this video who has done a historic makeover, or just any makeover of a Les Paul with, refinish to real nitro and all that stuff. I want to hear some of your opinions on what we can do with this guitar, because this needs to be in my, in my active arsenal of guitars, if you will. I need to play this more often on videos, because I still think it sounds amazing, but I think it could be a lot better. So this guitar, the Dad Les Paul, if you will, it's gonna go through some changes, and I think it deserves these changes because this instrument deserves to be played, It has been played for such a long time. There's such a cool story behind it, and the same goes for all your ignored instruments that you have at home and you just don't play anymore. I hope you do something with them, and that's what I'm gonna do. But at first, I'm gonna read some of your comments and opinions on what should be done, smart adjustments on these kinds of Les Pauls, and yeah, to be continued. Hope you loved this video. I hope you learned something today. If you want to check out my guitar courses, they're in the description down below. And I'll see you in the next video. And this, is going to be a continued project. See you in the next one.